Chairs, ladders, tables. All of these are commonly associated with weapons that are frequently used in a hardcore match in WWE. However, there have been occasions where WWE superstars have brought out a rather unorthodox and rare item to use as a dangerous weapon. But which ones were they? Well, join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at 10 of the strangest weapons ever used in a WWE match. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Number 10. Dog Poop. The Attitude Era had its fair share of bizarre segments, and one of the most bizarre was the time that The Rock executed a rock bottom on the British Bulldog into a tray of real dog poop. This was during Bulldog's lackluster return to the WWE, as Bulldog had been placed in a high-profile feud with one of WWE's biggest stars and was supposed to be the break he needed. But Bulldog's body was far too damaged to keep up with the younger talents on the roster, such as the Great One himself. And during the build towards this match, WWE would book a tag team match between the Rock and Sock Connection versus Val Venis and the Bulldog. This match ended in a no contest following The Rock delivering the rock bottom on a tray of dog poop. The segment was rather disgusting and it completely killed all of Bulldog's credibility heading into his major pay-per-view showdown with The Rock. Number 9. An artificial leg. The In Your House Good Friends Better Enemies pay-per-view in '96 was notable for being one of the last WWE pay-per-view appearances of Diesel and Razor Ramon before they departed the company for WCW. The main event of the pay-per-view featured Shawn Michaels defending the WWE title against Diesel, and the match became infamous for a rather bizarre weapon that was used in it. During the match, Diesel would attack Mad Dog Vachon, who was sitting in the crowd, and he proceeded to remove his artificial leg. Strangely, Diesel then attempted to use the leg as a weapon, but HBK dodged the attack and was able to use the leg against Diesel to win it. Number 8. A kitchen sink. A Jeff Jarrett showdown with China at the 1999 No Mercy pay-per-view acted as the first and only Good Housekeeping match in WWE history, thankfully. The gimmick match surfaced after Jarrett had debuted a new gimmick which revolved around sexism, and China was his main target. The match featured a number of household items at their expense. At one stage in the match, Jarrett would hit China with a fish, and China would proceed to sell this as if she had just been hit with a steel chair. Also during the match, China hit Jarrett with the kitchen sink. It looked brutal and naturally led to a ton of puns being delivered by Jerry Lawler on commentary. The finish of the match involved China using Jarrett's own trademark guitar to hit him over the head. She would then pin him and become the first ever female Intercontinental Champion in WWE history. Number 7. A bowling ball. In theory, the bowling ball is one of the most dangerous weapons a WWE superstar can possibly get their hands on, and the item has been used a number of times throughout WWE history. It was commonly used during the Attitude Era, partly during matches for the Hardcore title. It's also been used in a number of major WWE matches during the PG era, including Cena vs Alberto Del Rio in 2012 and Elias vs Bobby Lashley in 2018. How it's used is usually the same. It's usually rolled by the babyface into the heel's groin region, who happens to be sitting in the corner of the turnbuckle. Ouch. Number 6. Oxygen tank. Now, it's not uncommon for wrestlers to cheat to win championships. Shelton Benjamin decided to take this one step further back in 2006 when he decided to use his mother's own oxygen tank as a weapon to secure the Intercontinental Championship. This was during a strange portion of Shelton's career, as he would begin to be managed by his own mother in his matches. The match the oxygen tank was used in was a match against Ric Flair on Raw, and during the closing moments of it, Shelton's mother began to fake a heart attack, and this distraction allowed Shelton to use his own mother's oxygen tank as a weapon on Flair to secure the huge victory. Number 5. A pencil. One of Dean Ambrose's last matches during his time in WWE was a Falls Count Anywhere match on the March 11, 2019 edition of Raw against Drew McIntyre. The match was supposed to act as a huge moment for Drew, as he was finally going to defeat the former champion heading into WrestleMania 35. During the match, they would battle on the announce table, and Drew actually took a pencil from the announce table and stabbed it right in Ambrose's eye. It was kind of a brutal moment for the PG era, and fans questioned if Ambrose and Drew went off script to use it. The Raw announcers acted shocked at the attack, but they never actually addressed what had actually taken place. Number 4. A bag of popcorn. WWE was so popular in the year 1999 that Vince McMahon decided to air an episode of Heat during the Super Bowl halftime show. The show featured one single match, and that would be The Rock defending his WWE title against Mankind in an empty arena match. The match itself was a great match in what would become an iconic rivalry, but during this one, Mankind decided to use a bag of popcorn on The Rock. Now, although this wouldn't have hurt too much, The Rock rather hilariously decided to oversell it. Mankind would go on to win the match and once again capture the WWE title. Number 3, a potted plant. Following WrestleMania 32 in 2016, one of the biggest feuds to begin on television was a feud between Dean Ambrose and Chris Jericho. The two decorated superstars' feud escalated when Ambrose debuted the Ambrose Asylum talk show, which would act as a replacement for the popular highlight reel. The two would meet at the Payback pay-per-view in a grudge match, which Ambrose would win, but it was the next night on Raw where things really escalated. As part of Ambrose's set for his talk show, he would have a potted plant known as Mitch. During a segment on Raw, a brawl would ensue between the two rivals and Jericho would actually hit Ambrose over the head with Mitch. According to Jericho himself, it was his idea to use the bizarre weapon in the infamous feud. During an Inside the Ropes tour, Jericho revealed, "We put the potted plant in the ring and then my idea was that at some point in time I would use this potted plant as a weapon. So I had a bunch of highlight reels over the next few months and I would keep the potted plant in there every time. And finally, the idea was that I would have a highlight reel with Ambrose and then hit him with a potted plant. So we do the angle and I hit him with the potted plant and he misses SmackDown next week. He's got a contusion, he's got a concussion, he's got all these injuries. But all anybody was talking about was the potted plant being broken. And then some genius at WWE shop gave it the name of Mitch the Potted Plant. And I was like, no, stop it. This is like an assault with a deadly weapon. It's a potted plant." Number 2, Lego. Now, if you've ever stepped on a brick of Lego, you just know how painful it can be. Now just imagine a body being slammed into a ton of differently shaped Lego bricks. This happened a number of times throughout WWE history and it no doubt must have been incredibly painful for whomever had to take the bump. During the Elias vs Bobby Lashley Miracle on 34th Street fight in 2018, Lashley took a huge bump into the Lego bricks, which no doubt left a former champion in immense pain. The following year, during a match between Heavy Machinery and The Revival, Otis would body slam Scott Dawson into the Lego to the delight of the live audience. And number 1, a fireball. A fireball was mainly used as a weapon during the Attitude Era, as during this time period, Kane on occasion would use the fireball as a weapon and it fit perfectly with his character and gimmick. But fast forward to 2021 and WWE would bring it back as Alexa Bliss threw a fireball in the face of Randy Orton during Orton's intense feud with the Fiend Bray Wyatt. This was completely unexpected as throwing a fireball in the PG era was something that fans never expected, but nevertheless it happened and it looked awesome on television. But there you have it folks, 10 of the strangest weapons ever used in a WWE match. Be sure to leave your comments down below. I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.